Ironheart just crashed and burned before it even took off. Marvel's newest show? A total flop. And people are saying this might be the most out-of-touch mess they've ever released. Bob Iger is reportedly fuming behind closed doors while the numbers drop harder than a rock. So let's jump straight into this wild train wreck, because Marvel and Disney just delivered another so-called masterpiece to push their latest agenda. Ironheart. More like Iron Flop. It's honestly impressive how much effort went into making something so forgettable. This show feels soulless, out of touch, and empty. But somehow they still try to dress it up like it's a hit. Disney keeps running the same tired play. Throw a rainbow over the logo, call it diverse, and hope no one notices there's no real story behind it. Then when people tune out, they act shocked like, how did this happen? Let's keep it real. Nobody was asking for Ironheart. Not a soul. This character came from a comic line that got canceled back in 2016. And no, it wasn't because of trolls or hate. It flopped the old school way, because nobody read it. The sales were weak and the interest was non-existent. But instead of moving on, what does Disney do? They dig this thing out of the grave, slap some expensive CGI on it, and push it as the next big thing in the MCU. They tried to polish it up and parade it like it's groundbreaking, but fans aren't buying it. Riri Williams shows up out of nowhere, no backstory, no emotional connection, nothing tying her to the original Avengers vibe. Just boom. She's here. Played by Dominique Thorne, who's now busy arguing with fans online instead of winning them over. That's the promo strategy now? This ain't how you build a universe. This is how you sink one. And if you don't want to miss more wild breakdowns like this one, subscribe to the channel right now. We're calling it like it is. No sugarcoating, no filters. Stay tuned, 'cause things are only getting messier from here. You'd think Dominique Thorne would take a minute to reflect, maybe work on her acting or respond to real feedback. But nope, she's doubling down hard. According to her, if you don't like Ironheart, you're the problem. You're sexist. You're racist. You just don't get it. That's the tired old excuse we've heard again and again like a broken mixtape on loop. But let's talk about the real drama in the boardroom right now. Bob Iger. Or should we say, Bob Liger? 'Cause this man's got more spin than a DJ at a rave, and now he's in full-blown meltdown mode. Disney Plus is bleeding subscribers. Marvel's name ain't shining like it used to, and Ironheart is giving high-budget boredom real competition. The vibes? Wet cardboard. That's how dry this show feels. So, what's Bob's master plan to fix this mess? A press release. Yup. Corporate damage control at its finest. A carefully crafted PR statement, loaded with corporate buzzwords and zero truth. He actually claims Ironheart is, wait for it, a massive success, straight-faced. He really said this show is doing great, regardless of what you've been hearing. Translation? Don't believe your eyes. Don't trust the numbers. Everything's just peachy. Man, this is like watching the Titanic go under and someone yelling, "Relax! It's just a fancy new pool." But the wildest part? Bob seriously says that Disney never played into any kind of culture war. For real? Bob, are we even watching the same lineup? You mean to tell us the Acolyte wasn't a Jedi-sized gender studies essay in disguise? That She-Hulk wasn't a TikTok-fueled anti-man rant with a courtroom cosplay budget? Come on now! Fans aren't blind. They see what's being pushed, and no glossy press statement is gonna cover that up. So, yeah, stay locked in. Hit that subscribe button if you're done with the nonsense and want the real talk. This saga? Far from over. So now we're all supposed to sit here and pretend Ironheart wasn't built from the jump to push a message? Really? That's the story they're sticking to? Then Bob Iger takes it a step further. He actually says there are times when diversity, equity, and inclusion should matter more than the story itself. Boom. There it is. That's the real headline. The quiet part said out loud. That right there is the core of the problem. The story no longer comes first. The audience? Tossed aside. Your enjoyment? Not a priority. Disney's more focused on hitting quotas than crafting a show people actually want to watch. Let's get one thing straight. I'm not against representation. Not one bit. But let's be real. Representation should enhance a show, not replace the point of it. You can create a diverse cast and still build powerful characters with depth and heart. You can showcase real communities and still keep the story tight. But what Disney's doing now? That ain't representation. That's just a flashy costume parade pretending to be substance. It's billion-dollar virtue signaling dressed up in high-end CGI. And when fans finally say, yo, this ain't it, what does Disney do? They don't stop and think. They don't improve or adjust. Nope, they start lecturing us, like we're the problem. Suddenly, we're the villains for not understanding the vision. Please. Even people from inside the LGBTQ+ community are out here saying it. This stuff feels lazy, watered down, and even disrespectful. So maybe, just maybe, the issue isn't with the audience. Maybe it's time Disney takes a hard look at their writer's room instead of wagging fingers at the fan base. But wait, it gets even wilder. Bob's got one more card to play. Mephisto. Yup, after years of fan theories and fake-outs, they're finally bringing in Sacha Baron Cohen to play the devil himself in the MCU. Sounds cool, right? Don't hold your breath. If you're thinking we're finally getting that dark, twisted, comic-accurate Mephisto teased way back in WandaVision, forget it. This is Disney Plus we're talking about. So expect the nerfed version. The PG-rated Mephisto, the kind of devil who drives a Tesla, sips oat milk lattes, and gives motivational speeches in hell about healing your inner demon. This ain't the villain we've been waiting for, it's the corporate-friendly remix. So buckle up, 'cause this ride's just getting more ridiculous. And if you're tired of the fake hype and want the truth, hit that subscribe button right now. We're just getting started. Just like they tried to pull with Darth Plagueis in The Acolyte. Remember that mess? It was a straight-up desperation move. A final, cringe-worthy attempt to resuscitate a show that was already flatlining. They tossed out a legendary name fans have been begging to see for over a decade. And what did we get? Nothing. Zero payoff. Ratings still fell off a cliff. The hype? Dead on arrival. Viewers peeped it, shrugged, and bounced. Want to know why? Because nobody wants to see iconic characters shoved into half-baked, sloppy projects just to trick people into watching. That's not fan service. That's fan baiting. You can't just drop Plagueis into a story that feels like it was auto-generated by a gender studies chatbot and expect the fandom to swoon. That's not storytelling. That's a hustle. That's what studios do when they're totally out of ideas and completely out of touch with their own audience. And guess what? They're doing the same exact thing again, this time with Mephisto. Yup, they really think this is the big save. Mephisto's here. Finally! The character fans have waited for since WandaVision. But here's the twist. They're hoping a single Sacha Baron Cohen cameo can magically flip Ironheart's whole reputation. They're betting everything on this one moment, thinking it's the miracle cure, the golden goose, the game changer, like fans are suddenly gonna fall in love with Ironheart just because a devil walks in wearing a suit and throwing sarcastic one-liners. They want you to forget the stilted scripts. Ignore the lifeless dialogue. Pretend Riri Williams isn't delivering tired speeches about injustice between awkward punchlines like it's an open mic night. And somehow they want us to beg for season 2? More of this? Really? More bland rants wrapped in shiny FX? Nah. They're not building stories anymore. They're just playing tricks, grifting the fandom one cameo at a time. Hit that subscribe button if you're done being played and want the truth raw and real. Yeah, That whole Mephisto saves the day plan? Not happening. Let's keep it real. Fans never wanted Mephisto to pop up in Ironheart. They wanted him back in WandaVision when it actually made sense. Or in Doctor Strange Blade, even Moon Knight. Places where the tone fits, where the stakes are real, where the darkness feels earned. But instead, Disney drops him into this empty, hollow show like he's a toy surprise in a box of stale cereal. Nobody's falling for it. And you know what would have made sense? Bring in Ghost Rider, team up with Blade, set up the Midnight Suns, give us some real dark Marvel energy. But nah, what do we get instead? We get Velma 2.0 in a knockoff Wakanda Iron Man suit. And no, that's not a joke. There's actually a character named Zelma in this show who feels like she was lifted straight out of HBO Max's disaster version of Velma. Same style, same attitude, same forced awkward comedy. It's like they copy-pasted the whole vibe and thought nobody would notice. You can literally picture the meeting. Hey, what if we added another character nobody liked? That'll fix everything. Genius, right? The creativity is just overflowing. Or maybe that's just the budget bleeding out. Now let's talk facts, the numbers. This show isn't underperforming or finding its audience. It's tanking. Flat out. Viewership is so bad, even Disney doesn't want to talk about it. And you know when a show is doing well, they're blasting the stats everywhere. Most watched series of the week. Banners, tweets, interviews, confetti. But when it's bombing, suddenly everything's quiet. Nielsen data disappears. Nobody's showing receipts. And instead of sharing real numbers, they start throwing around words like engagement and positive sentiment, aka spin mode activated. Let's not forget, they threw millions at this show. Between the flashy CGI, endless reshoots, over-the-top marketing campaigns, influencer deals, and all those sponsored Twitter spaces, they wanted this to be a hit. They needed it to be a win. But what they got? A silent collapse. A ghost town in the analytics dashboard. And if you're tired of being gaslit by press releases and studio fluff, smash that subscribe button now. We're dropping the truth they don't want you to hear. It's honestly a miracle they didn't just take all that money and toss it straight into a bonfire. And now that Ironheart is falling apart, guess who they're blaming again? Us, the audience. Like we're the ones who messed up. And yet, there's Kevin Feige, still out here, still grinning like everything's fine, still pushing the idea that Riri Williams is somehow the future of the MCU, like she's the second coming of Tony Stark or something. Come on, man. Kevin, listen. You had Robert Downey Jr. You had lightning in a bottle. That was the most iconic casting move in superhero movie history. And your idea of passing the torch is swapping him out for a character who couldn't even carry a side role in Secret Invasion? Be for real. Riri Williams isn't Iron Man 2.0. She's Iron Man 0.2. A weak placeholder. A walking brand extension, a marketing checklist turned into a script. There's no soul, no spark, no impact. No one's quoting her. No one's breaking down her character arc. No one's hyped to see where she goes next. Because she doesn't go anywhere. She just floats through scenes, says a few clunky lines about systemic injustice, and every now and then, the script reminds us that she's a genius. Even though we never see it. It's just told, not shown. And here's the real uncomfortable truth that Disney keeps dodging. Fans are tired, not just disappointed, burned out, exhausted from watching a studio that once delivered iconic moments now turn into a lecture hall with superhero costumes. Marvel fatigue? Yeah, it's not just real, it's terminal. People ain't skipping these shows because they don't support inclusion. They're skipping them because the magic's gone, the heart's missing. It's all style, no soul. All politics, no payoff. And guess what? The cure isn't more rainbow banners or keynote speeches at diversity panels. It's not hashtags or PR buzzwords. The cure is simple. Tell good stories again. Build characters people care about. Show, don't preach. If you're tired of being treated like the villain for having standards, hit that subscribe button. We're not done pulling the curtain back on this mess. The real cure? It ain't some flashy cameo or another panel about inclusion. It's good stories, real characters, and actual stakes. Remember those? That's what made Marvel great. But now we get this stitched-together corporate zombie of a show, Ironheart. A Frankenstein's monster built in a boardroom, not a writer's room. This wasn't made for fans. It wasn't made to entertain. It was made to deliver a message. Ironheart isn't a show. It's a PowerPoint presentation with a costume budget. It's a corporate mission statement dressed up like a superhero origin. A soulless blend of buzzwords and boardroom-approved themes, pretending to be a part of the MCU. You can't just keep swapping out beloved characters with empty shells meant to check boxes and expect fans to cheer. You can't write every scene like it's coming straight from a LinkedIn diversity workshop and wonder why audiences don't feel a thing. People aren't stupid. They see the difference between representation and manipulation. They're not angry because of diversity. They're angry because the story has no heart. There's no soul behind it. Just a checklist. Just a trending topic. No character, no connection, just surface-level slogans stuffed into recycled scripts. And the wildest part? Even the very communities these shows claim to uplift are calling it out. LGBTQ+ fans who've always pushed for representation are out here saying it loud. This feels lazy, forced, and downright condescending. When even they are tuning out, it's not a signal, it's a siren. Your product isn't just weak, it's broken. So where does Marvel even go from here? We wait, we watch. We hope someone at the top finally gets it. Maybe Fantastic Four can rise from the ashes and give us something real again. Or maybe Doomsday 2026 just brings more CGI suits and punchlines with no weight. But no matter what, we remember. We remember when Marvel had heart, when it respected its heroes, when it trusted the fans. Back when applause wasn't demanded, it was earned. Subscribe now if you're still holding on to what made Marvel legendary, because we're not letting that memory die without a fight. And now, as Marvel scrambles to fix the wreckage, you know what their next move is? Spin. More spin. More staged interviews. More glowing media articles claiming Ironheart is bold, important, and trailblazing. All while the viewership graph nosedives like a roller coaster with cut breaks. They're flooding headlines with buzzwords, hoping to distract from the one thing that actually matters. The fans aren't watching. You can wrap it in gold, dress it in vibranium, and stick a Tony Stark Easter egg in every episode. But if no one cares, what's the point? Instead of listening to feedback, instead of building something people want, Disney's pushing harder, blaming fans, blaming critics, blaming online negativity, as if that's why people stopped tuning in. No, the truth is simple. Fans are craving authenticity, not corporate lectures wrapped in a Marvel skin. You can't force the next big thing by shoving it down people's throats and gaslighting them when they push back. That's not how culture works. That's not how loyalty is earned. Fans don't follow trends, they follow characters, worlds, and stories that actually mean something. And right now, there's nothing to hold on to. No emotional pull, no investment. Riri Williams is just there, floating in a show that feels more like a commercial than a chapter in the MCU. You want real connection? Earn it. You want fans to rally? Give them something worth showing up for. Not another boardroom-approved heroine delivering monologues that sound like they were written by a PR intern during their lunch break. The audience isn't toxic. The audience isn't tired of diversity. The audience is tired of lazy writing, of being talked down to, of being used as a checkbox on someone else's marketing strategy. So what's next, Marvel? More trailblazing characters with no arcs? More cameos to distract from the lack of plot? Or will someone finally wake up and realize you're losing the people who built this universe with their passion? Stay tuned, hit that subscribe button. We've got more to break down, more truths to dig up, and we're not letting this slide under the radar. Not on our watch. Now here comes the wildest part. They're already whispering about Season 2. Can you believe that? After all the backlash, the falling numbers, the silence from Disney's own data team, they still think Ironheart deserves a sequel. It's like watching someone crash a car and immediately ask for the keys to another one. No lessons learned, no course correction, just blind confidence backed by marketing dollars and clueless execs trying to chase hashtags instead of hearts. And behind the scenes, the machine is grinding harder than ever. You've got hired influencers pretending they loved every second of the show. Fake Twitter accounts suddenly popping up, calling it a masterpiece and the most important MCU story of our generation. All while real fans are ghosting the franchise like it owes them money. This isn't organic hype. It's manufactured noise. Disney's trying to drown out the silence with scripted praise, thinking if they repeat it loud enough, people might actually believe it. But that trick's old. The audience is smarter now. They see through the fog. And what are they promising for Season 2? Deeper themes, bigger stakes, even more representation. But notice, nowhere in there is the word better. Not better writing, not better storytelling. Just more of what didn't work in the first place. You can pile on themes all day, but if there's no story, no heart, no character we actually care about, it's just noise. And fans don't show up for noise. They show up for stories that hit hard, characters that feel real, and stakes that matter. So if this is the plan, throw in Mephisto, slap a label on it, fake some applause, and hope people forget the mess of Season 1, then Marvel's future ain't looking too super. Because fans aren't asking for perfection, they're asking for effort, for passion, for a reason to believe again. And if Marvel can't give them that, then it won't be the fans who walk away. It'll be Marvel walking off its own stage. Stick around and hit that subscribe button. We're not just watching this fall apart. We're calling out every step of it. Not quotas, not lectures, not that fake surface-level inclusivity cooked up to hit ESG targets and impress stockholders. Real fans never asked for any of that. What built the MCU into a global powerhouse wasn't corporate checklists. It was stories. Human stories. Characters with depth. Emotion that hit you in the gut and stuck with you long after the credits rolled. That's what made us care. That's what pulled people in across the world and turned a comic book universe into a cultural movement. And until Marvel remembers that, until they stop turning every series into a glorified political pamphlet dressed up in flashy CGI, until they stop gaslighting loyal fans while fishing for praise, they're just going to keep sliding. The passion is gone, the magic's fading, and audiences feel it. They don't want to be preached at. They don't want to be blamed for not clapping. They want to connect with something real. That spark that made Iron Man soar and Cap inspire, it's missing. And no amount of Twitter trends or influencer campaigns can fake it. Right now, the MCU isn't expanding. It's shrinking, one flop at a time. And Ironheart? It won't be remembered as the start of a bold new era. Nah, it'll go down as the turning point. The moment things truly collapsed. Not because of diversity, but because of empty writing, hollow characters, and a studio that forgot who it was actually making content for. This wasn't a revolution. It was a checklist, a box-ticking parade that hoped applause would come just for showing up. But the audience sees through it, and they've had enough. If you're one of the real ones, if you're done with the spin, the hype, and the hollow storytelling, Smash that subscribe button right now, because we're not done exposing the truth. We're here for the fans who still believe in what Marvel used to be and what it could be again.